Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Select Start Radio. I am one of your hosts, DLB. With me, as always, from Oakland, California, Mr. Hoodnerd. This is we are recording on May 24th. Or excuse me, we recorded in the
Whoa.
future.
Where?
May 2nd, 2024. And then this is our 11th episode. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We got a good amount of news for you guys this week, so we're going to jump into it. Our first piece of news this week is Escape from Tarkov is behind a $250 paywall. They have a PvE DLC that's coming out. You and I talked about this earlier this week. And
I thought it was a joke.
not only is it 250, not only is it
I
200
really thought
for
I
this,
thought this was a lie, and then I really Googled it and was like, oh, it's a real thing.
yeah, it's crazy because not only $150 for this PVE download DLC, players also paid at one point $100 for all future DLC, and the people that paid that $100 are expected to now pay this $250 download isn't a part of that
No,
$100
it's another thing.
all your DLC. So I'm like, wait. So not only are y'all screwing over people who've already bought a prior DLC that would unlock all future DLC, you guys are telling them, well, no, this one isn't included in that. But you're charging $250 for a PvE, which stands for Player versus Environment, for those people that don't know. I'm like, yo, what is going on here? Now, I'm not gonna say in fairness because this isn't fair to anybody, but this is a independent developer, so
A Russian independent developer.
so,
Very important.
why that was getting ready to ask you, why is that piece of content important?
Because
That
a
they're from
lot of their
Russia.
games have scummy practices like that, right? So especially a lot of these type of games. So for them to do this isn't far fetched when you look deeper into it. As I've learned, it's
Got it.
oh, it's kind of like a thing. It's just that this is a very popular game around the world. So some of the games that don't make it out of right, you know what I'm saying, do this kind of shit all the time. It's just this one's so big. So for them to do it's like what? Which is 250
Right.
is crazy.
250 is insane.
It's crazy.
Like when we were talking earlier, I was even like, Helldivers is PVE,
right.
and that's $40. So, I mean, tell me what is included with this $250, and there's other things included, but the main
High priority
focal
high
point
priority
is the PVE.
no, high priority matchmaking. What is high priority matchmaking? That means you get, if you pay that, you get, you know what I'm saying? So if I don't pay it, I don't get good matchmaking.
and in all honesty,
where are we going?
I mean, granted, this game is popular on PC, but it's not crazy popular to where it's like developers don't get any bright ideas. Like if try and pull some shit like this, because could you imagine if video games started doing stuff just on that? Like if you don't play, you're not gonna get high priority to connect with other users.
It's
So we'll see you
it's like
to wait.
it's like
And
the driving.
like,
It's
could
like
you
DoorDash.
imagine?
It's like Uber. I mean, the better the driver you are, the more frequent you got to take all the calls. If you don't take them, you don't get the bigger deals. They'll cut you out the deal. It's like, yeah. So I can see that festering in the game and somehow. Oh, you don't play enough.
That better not.
You don't play enough. You don't play enough. You're not a top member.
That would be wild if they try to pull something like that. I hope nobody gets any bright ideas outside of this because that would be whack. But nonetheless, though, the community complaining. There hasn't been any update in regards to them or lowering the price or anything like that, but we will definitely keep you guys informed
Yeah.
as this story continues. Next up, Ubisoft free to play shooter X Defiant get a date. Um, it's been rumored so many times. There's been so many delays and so many. At one point, this game was like the Call of Duty killer,
It was hot.
is what they were calling it.
It was hot.
Um,
It was definitely hot. Like,
and
yeah, no, it was definitely after that alpha or beta. I can't remember which one, but yeah, it definitely got like a lot of traction, and then all of a
a
sudden it just
lot
disappeared.
just died all the
Yeah.
way down, lost
Mhm.
all that momentum,
Yeah, it had a lot.
all that. Like the game had a ton
I
of
forgot what
momentum, and
happened.
then
Something happened. They did
well,
something happened. What they do? They did something.
the only thing that I recall is when it was hot. Um, they then took off because it was like an alpha or
Something like
something,
that.
and it was only they only gave it to like which uh, these alpha and betas, these titles that they give it these days, like even Escape from Tarkov is still in early access, but they're charging you $250 for a PVE. Is it really in early access still? I just think they use these phrases for if it just in case anybody talks shit. Well, still in early access. It's still in alpha, but when you're purposely giving this to
But you're charging me
give
full price, or you're
streamers,
charging me a price for something that's in early access, which is fine if it's just
right,
like early access and you're helping us build the game. But like once the game goes live, it's like, oh no, it's still in early access for 17 years.
right.
So hard.
Like even when X Divine came out, you had to felt that your game was solid enough if you were intentionally giving it to streamers. Like you're intentionally giving it to streamers. You know this game is solid enough because you're not going to give it to streamers if you're looking for them to shit all over your game if it's not performing right. So forgive me if I don't believe in these little tags that they choose to put on these games because you're not going to give your game to and everybody was in love with it, but then it went once they took it off and wanted to work on it even more, it just went dark, and then there just kept being these promised release dates that got delayed and kept getting delayed, and that's why it's cute to say, "Oh man, delay the game as many times as you want." I want a complete game, and while that might be true, when you keep telling people, "Okay, it's gonna release on this date," oh no, we're delaying
Yeah,
it.
I think
Okay, it's
that's
gonna release on
different
this
though.
date.
I
Okay, we're
think
delaying it.
those type of delays are different. Like that's like the game ain't ready. You falsely having dates. Like if you like still need to work on your game, like hey look, we it's coming out. You want transparency. I think when developers are transparent with their communities or with the game, it helps. Like, but if you just go dark and you don't tell, like, why is this happening? It's just hmm, like, all right, figure it out.
And that's why I got quiet is because they kept delaying the game, and so now even as this article insinuates, just in the subject line itself, Ubisoft free to play shooter X Defiant gets release date after numerous delays because it's been delayed hella times, but suppose we will see. The game is supposed to launch on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC on May 21st. So we'll see if this stays put. For those of you guys that don't know, X Defiant is a part of the Tom Clancy series of games. It's 6v6, so pretty much like
It's
your
Call of
Call of
Duty.
Duty. It's boots to
Yeah, it's Call
ground.
of Duty.
Um, so you ain't gonna be flying, jetpacking, and stuff like
Which
that.
I hate.
So I got to play a little bit of it. It was pretty fun. Um,
We
but I only play like maybe a
need
good
diversity of
4
shooters.
hours of it. So I agree.
There needs to be diversity of
What
shooters.
I will say is it's different enough for people to fall in love with it.
Yeah, I think it just feels more like how old Call of Duty felt, and I think that's what people. It felt like MW2, like you know what I'm saying, kind of like what you see is what you shoot kind of Call of Duty. Now it's not like that. Just hella different. There's like all kind of like sliding mechanics and hella shit happening. So I think it felt more like old
Mm-hmm.
school Call of Duty. That's why people loved it. And I think that's what they went for. They wanted you to feel that old Call of Duty feel, you know?
Oh, absolutely. One of the best gaming history, because even
Yeah.
even beyond Call of Duty, your games like SOCOM and Warhawk and games like that, it was like before all this, or I don't know what to call that era. Just moving like you just was on crack cocaine. It was. I wasn't a big fan of those that Call of Duty days. Um, but yeah, so that's what's going on with X Defiant. Next up, Switch 2 said to be fully backwards compatible. Praise the Lord. With a larger 1080p screen. People weren't excited. A good amount of people, I'll say, when I went to the comment section, wasn't excited about the 1080p screen. Um, and to that, I will say battery life.
Yeah.
And hoping that
Mo- money.
the new docking station, well, that too, that
Money.
those are the main two:
Yeah. But like
price and battery
if
life.
the games look good though, but like if the you're I don't think we'll care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll like obviously yeah, OLED or whatever looks better, but like
I mean, it's Nintendo, so I don't it's what it's on brand for me. To me, a 1080p mobile screen. Now, my hope is that the docking station will up the visuals, even if it's not 4K, just up res to where it looks better than what it does on the handheld. I hope that they
and
do that
that
with the
could be
docking
something
station.
that, you
There's
know, since they'd use NVIDIA, that could be something that DLSS does, right? So like it converts. So
mm-hmm.
like, oh, when you use the USB cable or whatever, when you dock into the TV or monitor, it can show output to whatever. So yeah, it's possible.
And it would make sense with the second iteration of the Switch. It would make sense for the docking station to be more of a advanced docking station than like a dummy docking station like it is now, where it really doesn't do anything
Or
but
they should
display.
sell one, right? Like, or they sell one separately because like they might want to keep the dock cheap, and then like people that don't give a fuck about 4K or whatever, you can
Right.
you might not care. Like your kid might not care about 4K. They might just want the cheapest version. But if you sell the 4K hybrid docking station for another whatever $120, people that care, there you go. And then that makes it like comparable to like a PlayStation. You know what I'm saying?
And I wish I knew more
I don't know.
like hardcore Nintendo fans to see if that's something that they even give a fuck about. Does that community even
Yeah.
care about that? Because for me, being the Nintendo fan that I am, I that's not what I'm expecting from them. Personally, I'm not expecting a a Steam Deck Switch. I'm not expecting that from them. I like that's not what their brand has ever been. They've never been the most powerful console since like the PlayStation has came to the pit. Even when Sega was, I don't know, when they were competing with Sega, I don't recall them being the most powerful
Yeah, I
console.
think they had. I think I don't remember. I know they had like the Vector or whatever way or
Because
whatever. Yeah, Super
when the
Nintendo.
original Sega was 16-bit, what was Nintendo? I can't
I think they're
remember. I'd
both
have to go back
16-bit
and look.
era.
I have to do my
They're
research on
both
that.
16-bit. If Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis was both 16-bit, whatever that means.
Yeah. So so I would have to go back and do the research, but I've never, especially since PlayStation has been in the fight,
Damn, we were so dumb. Oh, it's
the
16-bit.
Nintendo has Nintendo has never been
Oh,
like
this
the
one
most
32-bit.
powerful anything.
It's more to it than that, man.
Um,
uh,
yeah, no, I'll definitely take the larger screen for
yeah,
sure. I'm never mad at a larger screen.
you just want better battery life.
And tell you, one of my main concerns was backwards compatibility because I don't assume that anymore these days. Like I'm always waiting, and I'm still waiting. Really, excuse me, because this is all rumors. It's believable. This is all rumors, but until I really hear it from the horse's mouth, where did that come from?
I'm sure it's older than both of us. Maybe it's Mr. Ed. I don't know.
Because
I know
because horses don't
Mr.
talk.
Ed did though.
It's a big ass teeth.
Yeah, Mr. Ed talked.
Hold on, I'm about to. Where did from the? Whoa. Some of the some of the stuff that pops up when you're texting. Some of the how Google pops up what it thinks that you're
Yeah, where you
trying to
going?
say.
Like where you? Sometimes when I smile, it makes me look like I got veneers.
This
Because I'll do this, do like I got the teeth. do like, oh shit. what,
guy.
what got the they too big,
This is
dog.
about to be hella funny.
They too
It's about to
big,
be a
dog.
hella funny part of the podcast.
File them down. They too big. Go to a real doctor.
It says this comes from British. Well, that would make sense because British say some dumb shit. What up, Snake? This oh, seriously, what's up, Snake? I'm not calling you dumb. But this comes from British horse racing circles, likely because the presumed idea source for racing tips would be the horse rather than spectators or riders. That still makes no goddamn sense to me. But since it's from British people over in Europe, shout out to our listeners in Europe. You guys are intelligent, but the people that don't, they're dumb.
Well, I mean, it's just,
So that makes sense.
I mean, everywhere has different sayings.
They do. Like, what do they call cigarettes over?
Facts, but we say weird shit here too.
What's the fact here?
It's a derogatory term for a person who is homosexual.
That is crazy how that's a derogatory term.
Anything can become a derogatory term. You just make it up, and once it becomes something that is directed towards somebody, that enough people it can become derogatory. If you started calling somebody,
We gonna take a hard
no, we
turn real
where
quick right here in the
where we
podcast.
turned,
No, listen, listen,
where we
Linda.
turned it.
So, okay, Drake, Kendrick, and Rick Ross.
Okay,
Yeah. Um, so we're gonna pause on the gaming stuff real quick. We're gonna get right back to it because we still got some big gaming news to report.
no, we
Um,
don't.
Here's what we do. Here's one thing that not upsets me, that this is an issue that I have with us as a community, black people. So Drake is half black and half
Mm-hmm.
white, right? Rick Ross calls him a white boy. Kendrick saying we don't want to hear you saying nigga no more. And like people are taking that and literally running with it. Like, yeah, he shouldn't be able to say the N word, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, hold on. So y'all let Fat Joe say it, Big Pun say it. These motherfuckers have no lick of black at all. Y'all are
But that's
listening
not
to a
true. That's not
Mexican.
true. Diaspora,
What's not
diaspora.
true?
That's not true. But continue.
M-
I'm
man,
telling you.
y'all fools will let Asians say it, Latinos say it, Puerto Ricans say it, like pretty damn near anybody but white people. And Drake is at least his
Bro,
DNA.
you
He's
don't know
black.
what type of world we live in. I don't understand why you acting like this is not the world we live in, where people just like kind of like latch on to anything. Like none of this shit's real. Like
They're sheep, and that's why it's so funny to me. Because number one, I've never heard anybody complain about him saying the N word before. first
No,
and foremost.
look, that's a
But
jab.
but
That's
second,
a.
now that people are just really like genuinely jumping on this bandwagon, like, yeah, man, he shouldn't be able to say
I think there's
that.
other critiques.
I'm
I
like,
think
are
there's
y'all
other
for
critiques that
real?
he brought up in his character that are valid. Than that one, but like, there's definitely.
But that's the one that everybody's latching on to, though. And I'm just like, are we for real right now? Like there's all kind of think pieces on TikTok
TikTok is
and
not a real place.
freaking on TikTok, Instagram,
Sorry,
and then when you then I
sign
was
up for my
watching the Hot
TikTok soon.
97. I was watching Hot 97, Hot 97 and well, not but it was Ebro and Funk Flex. They had a video, and in the comment sections, people are like, "Yeah, and I'm just like,
Comment sections aren't real
it's just,
places,
it's
dog. It's
just,
just people.
it's
It's
just, it's the community, but that is the people that are listening to these songs
yeah, but
and
just because you
really
listening to
sitting
it, don't
here.
mean you digesting it correct. You know what I'm saying? Or like people sometimes get. Oh, it's tough. Like I don't know. I just don't let that shit bother me because people are weird. And if you just run with that, you'll be okay.
I just, that the word in general, just, I mean, a lot of people, even with Jay, I feel like a lot of people were sheep with that. Like, yeah, we took ownership of the word and flipped it into it. But we the only ignorant ass people. This is just me personally. Y'all can feel about me however you want. That's taking a word and it's just like, yeah, we took it and we flipped it into something positive. I'm like, nah, bruh.
But we do that all.
We're
We
the
do
same
that all the time, though.
community. We're the same community to call white people
But we do that all
crackers
the
and
time.
think that that's an
But not
insulting
everybody
name.
does that though. See, I think that's the problem with it. This is going down.
Well,
This is going down a.
nothing is ever
Yeah, so
everyone.
that's the problem. But we
Like,
always paint the. We stroke it, right? So we don't. We never prefix that it's not everybody. We when we talk, we speak monolithic, and I think that's.
I mean, a good amount of black people are saying the word nigga,
Yeah,
or
well, yeah,
will
for
at least
sure.
say,
But that's I don't think that's what's setting us back. We got bigger fish to fry than the N word. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think if we all stop saying nigga right now, I don't think it would like change anything. Personally, I don't think
I think there's better things that we can refer to ourselves as
100%. I agree
than
with
that.
you. I agree. But I don't think it's
Um,
what's holding us back. And I don't think we're a monolith. And I think we need to stop looking at it like in this monolithic form of like we all got a client. It's like, yeah, we try, but like it's hard, bro, because we all think so differently. So it's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, we never
Absolutely.
gonna be able to on the same page monolithically, like just where we all think this was like it's impossible, bro. It's hard. It sucks.
Um, but yeah, but that whole thing though, I just thought was hilarious. Of Drake can't say it, but you got people, Jennifer Lopez walking around. Yeah, y'all, come
So
on, y'all,
that was
do better,
Ashanti.
do better, man.
Ashanti slid that one on her.
Do better.
Ashanti.
But y'all all in the studio though, and it's like, yeah, we
Well,
approve
you
it.
already know how motherfuckers get passes, but them ain't the same people though. So I mean, we talking about different motherfuckers. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't what Kendrick is saying isn't what Ja Rule and Irv Gotti allowed Jennifer Lopez to do. It's not the same.
Um, but yeah, that was on my brain real quick.
He
Um,
filleted his ass though.
so all right, let me see what was the next.
Oh man.
So back to the new. Oh, okay. So PlayStation Plus monthly games for May is which I have even this one I have is interesting to me because we'll actually start off with this. Didn't we just get something from Destiny in PlayStation Plus? I could have swore we just got Destiny's Lightfall,
No, I don't think so.
or
It, mi-
okay. So then
it
maybe
might have
I'm
been
thinking
Witch
that
Queen, but I
maybe
don't
we
think they
had
would
a
have give you
rumored.
Lightfall. Lightfall just came out. Lightfall
I
just
think it
came
was
out
rumored then.
maybe like 2 months ago.
Okay, so we must have reported on it on a couple episodes ago as a rumored PlayStation Plus. Okay, so the Destiny 2 Lightfall, Tunic, Ghost Runner 2, and EA Sports FC 24. So those are your PlayStation Plus games for. When do the new soccer games come out?
Uh,
They must be getting ready to come out if they're given.
yeah, you got a couple months. Usually
Okay,
Madden time.
yeah, because
They're
for
like the
them to
same
be
time.
okay. So those are your PlayStation Plus games for May. So yeah, go cop those.
Yeah, you're
Um,
not tripping off that. They make so
and
much money off foot. Or was it? Is it still foot? I guess it would be FC. Well, because yeah, what is it? It's got to be foot, right? And FC. So yeah, it's still footed. But yeah, what's the ultimate? I don't know
um,
what ultimate team is called this year.
so if it's Madden, wouldn't it
It's
be
Mutt for Madden.
Football Ultimate Team?
That's for Madden, but I don't know what FC is. It's not FIFA anymore.
So I'm saying for this called football.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's just gonna be football Ultimate Team.
So wouldn't it be
It just
football
still be
Ultimate?
it
Yeah.
still be the same thing. It still be foot.
So it'd be foot. Yeah.
Yeah, it still be foot.
Um, Sony. I have not read about this yet, so we'll all be learning about this live on the podcast together. Um, unless you know about it, I haven't read about it yet. But Sony is introducing a new way to invite PS5 players into your multiplayer sessions. Have you read about this or looked into this yet?
I have not.
Okay. So pretty much there's a joinable link. You'll be able to use links now to connect to multiplayer sessions, uh, which is uh, which is interesting. Pretty much you'll be able to go to the PlayStation app
And share.
and then send a link to your multiplayer section. You'll be able to send it via text, via Twitter, pretty much anywhere you can send a link to, and it can be accepted.
And somebody could so like if you like on Reddit and be like, hey, I'm looking for somebody to raid with at this
Pretty
time, you
much,
can send a link and be like if somebody joins your raid at that time. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Or yeah, it's interesting.
it is. Uh, I don't know how I feel about it.
I wonder how it's gonna work. What could be good for like community night for streaming? Like if you're playing on PlayStation, you can easily share a link to a party or something, private party with somebody if you want to get them in there. So something like that.
I mean, I guess if you really just don't add someone to your friends list, because I would figure that way would be a whole hell of a lot easier.
You don't want
Especially like if,
everybody ain't your people.
uh, I mean, you could delete them afterward, but I would think just so you can, because my thing is the link always open? If we all get disconnected, do I have to send you a new link? Like that could get very tedious after a while, I would think. Because for a perfect example of how me, you, and Jordan, when we be playing Helldivers, and sometimes there's moments where we're like dropping out. Like, do I got to send you a whole new link, or is it like Riverside where the link stays live and you can continue to just tap on that link and come right back into the session? If it's like that, then cool.
I guess time will
You know
tell.
that works out. So, um, let's see. It says today excited to share that in the coming months we're introducing the ability for you to generate a shareable link to PS5 consoles on PlayStation app and send it to PS5 players through any messaging or social media platform by opening the link and trying to get straight to the point. So you can either use the link or you could use a scannable QR code. So, for example, if you just met some new friends on your favorite social platform, you could send them a 5 session invite in the same chat and start playing together right away without needing to add each other as a friend on PS5.
There you go.
That doesn't really. For example, if you just met new friends on your favorite social media platform and you send them a PS5
Just
session
like I said.
invite,
Yep. Reddit, Instagram. Here, I'm gonna be online at this time. Here's a link.
I just don't understand. Well, see, and I don't know if it works like that, where you could have a pre already ready link, or do you have to be in said game in order to send the link?
Or I think it'll probably just be to
This
a
feature
party
is
chat,
designed to.
and then from the party chat, you just go into whatever game. That's what I would assume, right?
Well, no, in the when you click on the link, it's showing screenshots, and it looks like you have to. This is specifically to the game and not to the party
So it's
system,
to
a
the
party
lobby
chat,
of the game. So like,
because they're using Baldur's Gate 3 as an example, and they're already in the game.
I have to test it out when it comes out. Is it out?
Yeah. Huh?
Is it out?
No. It's early in the article. It doesn't look like they have a release date because in the portion I just said, it says we're excited to share that in the coming months. So there's not even an actual
Oh, so we
release
got
date for
time.
it. Join or invite other players. Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to figure out why this would be more. But here's the link to join my session. Feel free to share it with whoever you want. See you soon. I mean,
Yeah, it's for like back in the.
yeah,
It's like for
I
like
guess
when you
I
trying to
guess if you're,
raid and you didn't have nobody to raid with, you can be like, I'm in a session, or come join this session and click the link.
but so the other thing goes right. Are these jump in jump out sessions? Because I think that would also I think that would depend on the game. Um, I don't know. Hey, look, if it works for people, more power to you. If it works, and um, I just in my brain it just makes sense for me to add somebody to my friends list. I don't know why it's not really computing with me. Because I know some games are like I know some games aren't jump in jump out. Like if you're like I'm thinking like a Call of Duty because Call I'm thinking about the most popular games that people would probably be using this on. Like Call of Duty, once your lobby fills in Call of Duty, that link wouldn't be joinable anymore. So that's why in my brain I'm like, why wouldn't you just add that
They use
person to your
Baldur's Gate
friends
as an
list?
example, so it was like a
Right.
longer.
And that's why I'm thinking like, so is this only going to be good for particular games? Because I can see how it could be good for Helldivers, because Helldivers is space available. You could jump in, jump out at any given time. So it's like certain games this is going to be phenomenal for, and other games probably not so much. So,
We'll see.
but new ways to any way to be able to connect to your friends, whatever makes it easier for whoever. I mean, more power to it. It's not taken away from the network. I guess you could say it's improving on it. I just the reason why I look so hard and critique these features so hard is it's like, is this something that the community is going to use? Because there's so many pointless ass features that aren't being used. And one thing that they're not talking about is this on a game by game situation. Do game developers, I hate when this happens, when games have to adapt or adopt the feature in order for it to even work. So if this just is system level and it works no matter what game, then great. But if it's something that developers have to participate with, then this is a pointless ass feature because good luck getting a developer to add this feature to their game.
Yeah, I just don't see how it would be
Um,
system level.
See, and if it's not, then yeah, that's why I think that's why to me I think the better way to have done this is with the party system and not the game itself. Because Sony, you can control the party system, and once we're in a party, like if I have a shareable link to the party that I'm in, then once you jump in the party and start talking to me, it's like, oh, okay, this is my last, or the game session's almost done. When I get back to the lobby, then now that we're in the PlayStation party together, now we can jump into said game together because we're already in sync. That's why I feel that probably would have been the better way to have links to PlayStation parties than to do it with these games directly. Because if it's gonna go, it's on a game by game situation. That sucks. Sony can't control that, but what they can control is a party system, and that would have probably been the better way to do this. Then that makes all the sense in the world to me because I know how multiplayer games work. Like I said, Call of Duty, the lobby can get filled. Destiny, correct me if I'm wrong, but once you start a raid, you can jump in, right?
Mm-hmm. You can jump in and out.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Okay,
We you
because I know
can
some
we've left.
multiplayer games.
No, I've left to go to the tower to come back in the middle of a fight. Like I don't have the right equipment.
Okay,
I'll leave, come back, and
got you.
still fight. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, because I know some games once the session starts, like you can't.
Yeah,
It's not
you're in
rejoinable.
the instance or whatever. But yeah, no, it's just pop in, pop
Right.
out.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so games like that where it's pop and pop out is perfect. I get it,
Well,
understand
yeah,
it.
I want to
But
see how it works. Again,
yeah,
because
for
it could
sure.
be good for streamers who want to play with people, but don't want to, don't want
Yeah,
to.
if you got a private session and stuff like that, for sure, it works with that too. Yeah, most definitely. Um, this to me at least, I think this is probably the biggest news this week. Um, because while I said and I still believe that Microsoft is going to turn into Sega slash Steam. Um, at first they were making it seem like, oh no, it's not our larger exclusives, it's our more smaller independent level exclusives. Well,
But yeah, that was just to see how they do.
according to um, Halo among Halo among Xbox exclusives headed to PlayStation, says known insider. And anybody who follows um, Xbox blogs, anybody who knows the guy from Windows Central, he's this is pretty much all but freaking announced because I've never seen him miss on anything Xbox, like anything. I can't recall anything that he's ever missed on. So, but it's also not far fetched either. Um, it's saying that it wouldn't be released day and date. It pretty much would be how Sony releases their games on PC,
Yeah, but
where
this is a game that's
you know
already
it.
out. So like, if Infinite does drop, Infinite's been out for. It's basically like Horizon. So technically, if Infinite came out this year in the fall for PlayStation, it's already been on Xbox for how many every years? Now, Xbox fans will probably be pissed, but
But that's what I'm gonna say. This is so unprecedented though for anybody
excuse
old
me.
enough to know and understand. That you said, excuse me
Yeah,
again.
you said what?
I said for anybody who's old enough to
No,
understand,
before that
like
you said
us,
unprecedented. Was it?
president.
Hmm?
You don't think that's unprecedented?
Um,
Or Your asshole. I'm president.
A president? A president?
I'm, I'm hey, you know what? You're like Schultz and I'm like Charlemagne. I be pronouncing all the shit wrong, and then you gotta come back and correct me.
I was like, I know my ears. Listen, I don't get everything right here, but I know my ears ain't true. I was like, a president? A president? A president? We tired. Shit, I don't care. It was funny. I was like, what the fuck?
Yo, my ass freaking went to.
It's
I accidentally fell asleep. We were supposed to record this podcast a whole hell of a lot earlier than we
good.
are, so definitely my
No, it's
fault.
funny.
But for Halo to come to PlayStation is
That'd be
like
crazy. It
wow.
would be crazy.
Like that would be like Nintendo coming to PlayStation.
No,
Like,
it'd be like Mario. It would be like Mario being.
I mean, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, no, I know what you meant. No, we know, and I think everybody. No, it would be like Mario. It would be like Mario Kart. It would be like Mario Kart on PC. It would be like something like Zelda on PlayStation. No,
Man,
it's not happening. It's not happening. So yeah, if that happens, crazy. Because then that's open. Because what games do you feel are bigger than that? You know what I'm saying? That's your
nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
That is their biggest.
So if you're letting that one come, cinema, come on over. Everybody, come on. You know what I'm saying? They all coming.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like Microsoft has call me crazy, right? I feel like Microsoft is a very self-aware brand, and I feel like they've definitely became that way, basically over the last 3 years. And it's like, look, okay, we're never going to probably sell the most consoles again, and the only time that they did was when they had a year head start, and even in the end, in the long run, Sony still caught up and sold more consoles than the Xbox 360. So I think they're just very self aware and they know, like, bro, look, Sony has their market, Nintendo has their market. We're like the third ball out. So we'll still sell hardware, we'll still support the hardware. But in the meantime, we've always been a software company. So we're still going to provide these other brands with our content. Now, whether it's day and date, I don't know that part. Within that article, it's looking like it's just going to be like Halo releases here first. And if you really feel you want to play Halo that bad, then you'll still have to get an Xbox. Well, not even an Xbox. You'll either have to have a PC and or an Xbox, which for all intents and purposes, that's still they still get a chunk of PC gaming because it's on their OS.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
um, so I eventually think that Microsoft's pretty much going to turn into Steam.
yeah, I mean that's what they've been trying to do for a long time.
So I mean, because they play in that space, so with them building out Xbox Game Pass and like this is on brand for Microsoft.
Yeah, it's wanted everywhere.
So it's like they came into the consoles trying to adapt really the Japanese culture, or not Japanese, well, the Chinese Japanese culture, because they're the only ones that's ever really been making video games.
No, it's just
the Western
it's just
or
Japan.
like nobody else. Microsoft, to my knowledge, is the only major hardware player that ever came out with a console.
No, wrong.
That had a successful console?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Because who came out and had a successful console from the States?
Atari.
Well, I'll be forgetting about Atari because that was so long ago. But yeah,
the start.
It's
American from the Bay Area.
Yeah, no, so I'd be forgetting about Atari. And
then
because there's ones that have came out and just stand the test of time, or just because hell, didn't Apple originally come out with a? I know somebody came out with an expensive ass console super early on. I want to say that was Apple, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I don't think Apple ever did a gaming console.
What is it? There was somebody who tried it. Um, but nonetheless, Microsoft definitely came into the industry with their own way of doing stuff, mixed in with okay, well, we're gonna
Oh,
try and do.
I got another one for you. 3DO. 3DO was an American brand. I didn't know that
How
either.
long did that last though?
5 years. 5 years. A good
I'm like,
5 years. I had it. I had it for sure. I had it. I loved exotic consoles. Crash and Burn. And I loved it because they had fucking Samurai Showdown with the real arcade version with the blood. So I used to love playing Samurai Showdown there. Good time. Yeah. Gex. They had a good road rash on there too. Cause I loved it because they did the the back in the day with the big
Man.
pixelated characters, but the real sharp ones they did that and
Mhm.
it looked really good. Nintendo and Sega weren't doing it that crispy at that time. 3DO was pumping out some shit. How many
Mhm.
bits? How many bits? 32? No, 16. Oh no, that's the sound. 24? No, 16 bit. That's color. That doesn't say. Oh, 32-bit custom ARM. Okay, 32-bit. So it was the 32-bit before the PlayStation.
Mhm. Yeah, because I remember when that came out, and I was like, I don't know, and that's why I never got
Bought
one.
them all. Give me more. Yep,
Um,
Panasonic, Sanyo, Gold Star, Creative Technology, they all made the 3DO. I had the Panasonic 3DO. I remember that. Damn, what a time. TurboGrafx 16. That's Japanese though.
mhm. And then on our last bit of news, we're gonna actually switch over to tech.
Oh shit.
Um, so Tim Cook on generative AI, we have advantages that will differentiate us. So in a financial call, during a actually, I'll just go ahead and read this. During today's earnings call covering the second physical quarter of 2024, Apple CEO Tim Cook again spoke about Apple's work on generative AI. He said that Apple has advantages that will differentiate the company from the era of AI. Um, they have some exciting things to come. He spoke about
Corporate
they'll be
speak.
talking about a lot of that stuff. Yeah, exactly. A lot of that stuff they'll be talking about in the future. Which there's a product event next week where they'll
iPad.
be talking about new iPads and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think he'll be talking about it then. I think the future event
It's
he's talking about
WWDC.
is
It's
WC.
because think about it.
Mm-hmm.
WWDC is where developers are going to be developing. So these tools are probably going to be they're going to probably lean into AI with like a lot of the tools and things that the developers can use to make things and help them. So stuff like that. So and maybe they'll be able to tap into, which I'm sure they'll allow it to do, to be able to talk to the other apps and stuff, because that's the whole thing. Like that, I think that's what they're saying they can leverage. They have the most apps, they have the most developers. So like, if you're allowing us to tap into that resource, then yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like they have the most phones on the market, but it's all mumbo jumbo right now. That's Apple talking Apple.
Yep, talking to their shareholders
Mm-hmm. We have great things
and
coming. Great.
I mean
Okay.
that's how they talk about all their products. But
Mm-hmm.
nonetheless, though, yeah. So they're saying I'm curious. Like you and I have been talking for quite some time. I'm curious to see what it looks like, what it's going to be able to do. How is it compared to everybody else's? Because I I mean, think this is going to make or break Apple, but I feel like because they pretty much st- they didn't start it, but they were at the forefront of it. I'll say that they were at the forefront of this AI stuff with Siri when they actually bought Siri from a third party
Damn,
company.
what was the name of that company?
Um, I remember when Siri just used to be an app,
Yeah.
and then they bought that company and they integrated it into the phone, and then didn't do shit else after that. But but now this is their chance to finally fix that, along with other, because AI is very it's a very vague statement because it's like, in what direction are you guys going to use it? Because there's AI generated music, there's AI generated photos. You can be on the Chat GPT side of things where you're asking it how to write an essay, help you with your resume. So it's like I'm curious what aspect and how they could use it within the Photos app. They could use it within the camera itself to make better quality photos.
There's a lot
Uh,
they can do.
yeah, I'm curious what direction they're gonna go in with their AI technology. We've heard that they're rumored to be working with Google and Gemini. So that's probably one of the main things I can't wait to hear them talk about is the direction they're going with AI. Like I want it to be built into the phone. I pretty much want them to have pretty much Chat GPT built into all their products.
Nah.
iPad, definitely the laptop, like or their desktops, laptop, MacBook, the iMac. Like I want it to be built into the OS to where I can ask Siri or wherever, whatever, no matter what app I'm in. Like if I'm in a text message, be able to say, "Hey Siri, send Tay a text message about how I just watched the NBA final TNT and blah 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 blah," and then she just generates this text message for me, and then I proofread it, and I'm like, yeah, that's good enough. I hit send. Like I want it to be like, did you share it?
Uh,
I don't know what the hell that was.
you know who it was.
Oh, it was my speaker. I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah,
Because I had these headphones on, so I didn't hear it clear
yeah,
enough.
you know who it was. It heard you calling his name.
But yeah, so that's the main thing I want to hear from Apple is what direction they're going in with AI, how
Yeah.
it's going to be used, and hopefully it's built into the OS of all their products.
Only time will tell. Well, we only got a couple more weeks,
So,
right?
excuse me,
We got a month.
pretty much about a month.
A month, yeah.
Yep. Month. For those that don't know, WWDC Worldwide Developers Conference is what WWDC stands for. It's a conference that Apple has every year where they get with developers. I don't know if it's back in person again for since COVID. It's been all online, and they probably if it's best to do it that way because it's more people have access. The people that aren't able to physically be there, which is a lot of developers. But WWDC is for all the developers who are building apps for the App Store. There's an App Store on your phone, iPad, Mac. Um, but also, they hold a conference to start off WWDC, which is where we hear about what's coming to the new OS.
It's
So we'll
it's
be on
still it's
iOS
online.
18, iPad 18. Huh?
It's online.
It's still, yeah, I figured it was. Which I mean, it makes sense because not everybody could get there. That's why in the past I always wondered why they didn't just do an online version. Um, but they was trying to get that shmoney. But even then, only a certain amount of people could participate because there was only so much capacity. But nonetheless, I
It's I
digress.
think it's
So
the tangibility of being one on one with the people, or whatever, and seeing all the shit. So I think that there is something about being at those things. I get it, but yeah, it's probably
for sure, but
cheaper,
you know that everybody can't make
but it's
it.
also cheaper. It's just cheaper.
like if I'm in Australia, like I'm not gonna be able to make that. It's easier for me to stay home
True,
and
but it's just cheaper for them. Like to have to host the thing. It's like, oh, we just do some video sessions and boom, put some pizzazz on. Y'all sit back and watch. Have a couple interactive ones.
exactly.
Bang, save hella money.
That's why I didn't understand. Like, yo, wasn't y'all doing that in the first place? But nonetheless, they're doing it now. But yeah, so WWDC they talk about all the pretty much all the features that we'll be getting on the new OSs to all products pretty much coming that fall with the new phones. So if you guys have never watched WWDC before, never seen it, obviously we'll be reporting it here on the podcast. We'll give you guys the day that it is, what time it starts. It typically starts at 10 Pacific time on a Tuesday. It's typically, but things be changing. But typically, it's always at 10 PST Tuesday. And yeah, and then they'll talk about all the new things coming to. They won't talk about the new hardware, so they won't be talking about the new phone. We'll talk about the Watch OS, what's coming to the watch, what's coming to new and old phones, new and old iPads, and new and old MacBooks, and so on and so forth. Stay tuned here. We'll definitely update you guys on all that information, including any gaming content coming. Um, we hope you guys enjoyed today's show. For my guy Hoodnerd in East Oakland, I am your host
I
DLB.
don't know what I
Sally.
did there. I'm tired.
Is there anything sticking to the script? Is there anything to promote, get out, want people to follow you on anything like that? You got anything coming up?
Yeah, you follow me on all the socials, Hoodnerd. Again, I keep saying I'm gonna start streaming, but as you see, I move, so I'm getting things set up to do that. I got the rig right here. I got some stuff I'm doing, so we getting close. But yeah, you can also follow me on a podcast that I've been doing, Dungeons and Dragon podcast. So it's a D&D podcast on the Total Party Chill YouTube channel. And it's called This Game is Cursed, and I'm one of the stars on the show, and we're in our second season. So there's another season you can go catch up on YouTube. It's been fun. It's my first time playing D&D ever, so I've never played D&D before. Obviously, I understand the lore. I've played RPG games, but I've never actually played Dungeons and Dragons in real life. It's something I always wanted to do, but I didn't really grow up in an area where motherfuckers was playing Dungeons and Dragons, or I just never bought D&D because like we did play board games. To be fair, like some of me and my cousins and friends play board games, we just never did D&D. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
finally getting
Well,
to
a
do
lot
that,
of
it's
people
fun.
in our communities that we grew up in wasn't on no D&D. Like, or if you was playing it, you had to be undercover. Well, at least where I grew up, if you was playing it, you had to play it undercover because if they found out, nigga, you getting your ass. Nigga, you play what?
I didn't care about none of that
D&D.
shit. I just didn't get to play. Just
Yeah,
fucked up.
nobody in my circle way back then wasn't playing stuff like that.
But yeah,
Unfortunately,
it's
I wish I did grew up in a neighborhood full of Stranger Things characters to be able to
yeah, it's fun.
play
I
that
get to
shit.
use my imagination. But yeah, so you check me out on that
Meaning you get to use your brain,
a little bit,
something a lot of people don't use anymore.
a little bit. It's Jumanji though. It's a Jumanji themed show. So basically, we got invited to play a board game. We get sucked into the board game. We get to become the characters in the game. You know what I'm saying? We're living in a fantasy world trying to figure out how to get out. And it's fun. It's really cool. So yeah, go look at season 1. It's a podcast. You can get it on all the podcasts, Apple, everywhere, Spotify. It's also on YouTube. So Total Party Chill. This Game is Cursed is the name of the game or the show.
Dope, dope, dope. So there is a so I as we told you guys in the beginning, we're
Yes.
getting ready to come out with our second podcast, unrelated. I'm just getting all the assets and stuff taken care of. We actually were going to record a show uh this week, but
Ain't nobody got
I'm
time
still
for that.
waiting on some things.
Ain't
Say
nobody got
it
time
again.
for that.
Right. We probably should have named it that.
Nobody got time
That
for that.
probably would have been the game. For ain't nobody got time
Ain't
for
nobody got time for that.
that. If y'all steal that name, we about to copyright it right now. So kiss our ass. But between that and then I've already been pre-recording some episodes for my personal podcast that I'm coming out with. I already have 2 episodes in the book, but again, I'm waiting for some assets for that before I actually start posting that. But the one that I'm doing, it's not really restricted. It's not a time frame type podcast. Like this podcast is based on news in the gaming world. Unrelated is going to be based on world events, which my God, what's going on at UCLA and all these campuses across the nation right now is crazy, and really across the world for that matter. And then the Kendrick and uh, uh, Drake, and so there's like so we'd be covering again more news content, which is time sensitive. But the podcast that I'm doing personally, it's more conversational. So just kind of stacking episodes on that, and then they'll get released. But so more content from us coming soon, and then definitely check out Tay's D&D that he's doing. I should. I need to go to bed. I'm tired. And then yeah, Tay will be streaming soon at his Twitch, and all that information will be
Links.
in the podcast
Links.
notes of whatever. What did I say? Did I say something wrong?
Nah, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Uh, his the links to his social. I was knocked the fuck
He
out before we
paid
started recording this
fast.
podcast.
I still got a pack, man.
Man, I've been working 12 and 14 hours shifts because I'm trying to get this OT money. I try to do OT so I don't. It's going retarded, so I don't spend my own money. If that makes sense at all, I work overtime so I can spend my overtime money and not my own money. Pretty much, so I don't spend my regular check. I spend my check on all this frivolous stuff. But anyways, so yeah, so check the show notes. All our information is there. Socials, links for socials for the podcast. Make sure you guys follow the podcast on social media as well. It's on all your social media platforms. Select Star Radio. We appreciate you guys. Have a great until the next show. We out. Peace.
I'm gonna have you edit the R word though.